Hi, good morning, everyone. Now, as you know that after the vacation, once again we start our online class. So now today is a Monday and it's turn for the science. So we are going to discuss today about the second chapter, that is a matter around us pure. So Miss is asking the questions to us. Whatever the matter generally we can find or we can see in our surroundings, that is pure or impure. So as in a general way, when we are talking about anything, the many things like consumable things or the food materials or about the butter, about ghee and anything. So generally we are saying that it is pure or impure. So in general way, pure means what? The pure means there will be no adulterations. Means if there will be no other things or cheaper quality things is not mixed or added with that consumable things. So we consider as a what? A pure substance or pure thing. But now in the way of science or when the scientists are saying something that is pure, it means what? It means that substance contain the molecules or particles, they have the same chemical nature. So from here we can say that the pure substance are the substance which contain or which have only the same kind of particles or molecules or atom. Means that contain same kind, same type of molecules, atoms or particles. So that considered as a what? A pure substance. Now, as you know that the matter we are already discussed in the 8th class. How can you say what is the matter? Yeah. Yes, everybody knows that because we already discussed in the 8th class. So anything which have the mass and occupy the space is called what? Matter. Okay. So it's a very simple definition for the matter. Means anything which have some mass and occupy the space is called matter. Even that is a small piece of chalk, this also a matter. So anything which have some mass, either it is a very few gram, milligram or kg or tons over this. So all things are known as what? Matter. So now I am going to show you here the flow chart through which we can understand the classification of this matter, either it is pure or not. So this matter can be classified in two things. One is a pure substance and second one is a mixture. Pure substance and mixtures. So now the pure substance means the substance which contain all the same kind or a single kind of molecules or particles. This can be classified into the two way. The pure substance means that the pure form can be exist in nature in the two form. Either it is in a elemental form or in the form of elements. And second thing is about what? First one is elements and second is compound. Now elements, as you know that for example elements oxygen, nitrogen or iron, all the metals. So these elements can also be classified or can be classified in a three way or in three different forms. First one is matter, non-matter and between them metalloids. So these are the three different forms of elements. So element can be found in the form of metals, non-metals, and metalloids. Generally, for example, metals like copper, zinc, this iron, this all are non-metals like carbon, nitrogen, this sulfur. These all are the examples of non-metals. And for metalloids means the which have the property in between both metal and non-metal. Means it behave like a metal and a non-metal. For example, arsenic, silicon, germanium, cadmium. These all are the example of metalloids. So I think it's clear. The pure substance are found in the form of a element form or in the form of a compound, and element can be classified in the form of a metal. For example, copper, zinc, iron. So if we consider an iron block, so that iron block is made up of the iron molecules or iron atoms. Means that a block is contain only the iron, nothing else other than the iron. Copper, that is made up of all the copper atoms. Zinc that is made up of all the zinc atoms. Non-metals, carbon, nitrogen have only the nitrogen atoms combined and form a molecular form. And metals, this also have the form of a pure substance. Now compound, this is also the pure form. So when the compound is formed, when the two or more substances chemically combined in a fixed ratio, then it forms a compound. For example, just like this NaCl, common salt, CH4, methane, sugar, C6H12O6, glucose, that. So this all are what? Compound. Means they are formed when the pure substance, or for example this sodium chloride, this is formed when the sodium and the chlorine, this pure substance, are combined together in a fixed ratio, in a fixed proportions. So it forms what? A compound. So now see this. Now next the mixtures. So these mixtures can be classified in the two different forms. There are the two different forms of a mixture. As you know that homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous. Homogeneous mixture means the type of mixtures which have the same composition throughout the solution. Means we cannot distinguish, or we cannot distinct the different parts. This type of a mixture is called a homogeneous mixtures. When the home mixtures is formed, when the two or more substances are added together, it forms a mixture. For example, suddenly we form the mixtures. So you can see that the air is also a mixture. It's a mixture of different gases like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, dust particle. So these all are the components of air. So air is also a type of water mixture. But homogeneous mixture means which have the uniform composition. For example, if you dissolve the sugar in the water, so that sugar is completely dissolved in the water. So that type of, or either you can take the 1 spoon sugar and dissolve in the water, that is known as water homogeneous mixture. The one, for example, another type, alloy. Alloy is also a homogeneous type of mixture. Solution is also a homogeneous type of a mixture. Second one is a heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous mixture means the mixtures which not have the uniform composition, means it have a non-uniform composition. We can find out the distinct part of a constituents. Suppose that if you mixed the iron fillings and the sulfur, so somewhere you find the more sulfur and somewhere you find the more iron fillings, means it's not a uniformly mixed. So that type of mixture is called the heterogeneous mixture. For example, very common example, sand. You can see in the sand there are the many types of the small and stones, gravels, fine sand. So that known as what, the heterogeneous mixture. So now see here, this once again the matter. Matter, as you know that anything which have mass and occupy the space is known as what, matter. So matter can be classified into two forms, pure substance and a mixture. Then pure substance can be found or exist in the earth in the form or in the nature in the form of elements or a compound. These are the pure forms. And elements or compound, they have the made up of the same kind of molecules or atoms. Elements are classified into three forms or three types. Means elements can be found in the form of metal, non-metal and metalloids. You know, the metals can be classified on the basis of its characteristics. Generally we know, or everybody knows that in the 8th class there is a chapter metal and non-metal. So there we study the many characteristics. On the basis of that we can say that it is a metal or a non-metal. So there we discuss the many important characteristics, like metals are ductile in nature, it's a malleable in nature. Malleable means it can be drawn into the thin sheet. Okay, metals shows the thermal conductivity. It shows the characteristics of a conductor, means it can allow to pass the light through them. It's a good conductor of electricity. Metals are the sonorous, means it's produce the ringing sound when they strike with something. So suppose that the coin, so that coin is strike with anything, it produces sound. That sound is called the sonorous. So all the metals have the high melting point and the boiling point. So these are the basic characteristics of the metals. Generally metals are hard, tough, rigid. Now about non-metals, this shows the characteristics that generally non-metals are not in the form of solid. It's not a hard, for example sulfur, carbon, but the one exception is there, the non-metal, the diamond. So diamond is the hardest substance. But always you know that there are the exception in the science. So in the metals, you know about the mercury. Mercury is not a hard, which is used in to fill the thermometer. So it is found in the liquid form. Okay, so these are all the characteristics of metals and non-metal. So now next we are going to discuss about the differentiate between the mixture and a compound. Means what are the difference between a mixture and a compound. Already before this I sent to you the screenshot of some definition, so you can write down from there. So now the mixture and this side compound. So the first point, mixture, the elements or the compound just mix together to form a mixtures, and no new compound is formed. Means in a mixture only we can mix the elements, but there will be no any chemical reactions happen between them, so it not form any new substance. But in the case of a compound, the element react to form a new compound. Means chemical reaction is taken place in a compound when the two or more elements combine together chemically. So it form what? It form a compound. But in any proportion, in any ratio, just you mix it. Suppose that you take some, for example, grains and wheat and pulses, like this, all you mix together. So what it forms? It forms mixture. But now if you take sugar or salt and dissolve in water, in water or make any solution, so that form what a compound. Okay, so this is the difference between them. It's only mixed or added together, but it forms new compound after the chemical reaction. Means chemical bonding is taken place in a compound. Chemical reaction takes place in a compound. Second point, a mixture have a variable composition. Means there is a no fixed composition. Variable composition is not a fixed. You can take in any ratio. Suppose that you take a 5 gram wheat and a 10 gram or 10 kg wheat and 5 kg rice and mix it together. But in the case of a compound, the composition of each new substance is always fixed. Means in the composition in a compound, we can take in a fixed ratio. The composition is a fixed, always fixed. Third one, a mixture shows the properties of the constituent substance. A mixture shows the property of the constituent substance. Whatever the constituents we are taken in a mixture, it have its own property. It cannot lose its property. It's owned by its own property. So a mixture shows the property of its constituent substance. Means you mixed the iron and sulfur, so iron shows its property and sulfur separately or show its property. Means its property cannot change after the mixing, but it cannot happen in the case of a compound. The new substance has totally different properties. Means whatever after the chemical reactions, one type of chemical reactions, so when chemical reaction is taking place, whatever the product we are getting after the reactions between the reactant, that is totally completely different from a reactant. Okay, so means after the reactions or when the compound is formed, it loses its identity. Means constituent lose its identity. Okay, for example, we are taking simple example. When the hydrogen react with the oxygen, so hydrogen and oxygen both are what? Gas. It have its different property, but when chemically it combine it and form compound like water, so water have its different property. So this third point explain these things, that the new substance has totally different property. Means after reaction or when chemical combine or form the compound, it lose its property and it have or adapt its new property. Now fourth one, the constituents can be separated fairly by the physical process or a method. Means in a mixture, simply we can by the simple method, by some simple techniques of separation, we can separate out, we can sort out. For example, by the filtration, by the boiling, evaporation, these are the simple methods or process through which we can separate out a mixture. For example, generally sieving or hand picking, you observe at your homes. So these are the simple methods by which the constituents can be separated from the mixtures. But now it does not happen in a compound. The constituents can be separated only by the chemical or a electrochemical reaction. Means the special technique should be used for a separation. For example, the special technique like crystallization, centrifugation, funnel process. So this means by using special technique, we can separate the constituents of a compound. But here, by adopting the simple technique, simple method, we can separate out the mixture, the constituents of a mixture. But the constituents in a compound we cannot separate by simple adopting a simple method like a filtration or any other type of method. For this we needed a special technique, centrifugations, crystallization, chromatography, paper chromatography. These all are the technique which is used to separate the constituents of a compound. So I hope you enjoy the class. If you have any feedback, just you send me a message. If any problem regarding this topic, you can ask to me without any hesitation. So in the next class, we are discussing about the concentration of solution. There are the two different methods by which we can find the concentration of a solution. Simply, you know, the concentration means water. So on the basis of you know, their concentration, solution can be classified into the two different categories, two different types. Generally, you hear about that dilute solution or a concentrate solution. So dilute solution means the solute is in a less amount, and the solute are in a more amount. That is called dilute solution. Concentration means the solute amount of the solute is more than a solvent. So there are the two different type of a solution, dilute solution and a concentrated solution. So in next class, or maybe in the next Monday or next class, if whenever it is possible, we are discussing about the concentration of a solution. So there are the two methods. We can find the concentration mass by mass percentage method, or a second one by volume percentage method. So these are the two methods by which we can find out the concentration of any solution. So that we discuss in the next class. So I hope you enjoy the class. Once again, thank you everyone. Okay, take care. Have a nice day. Now take the screenshot and note down in your notebook. Thank you for watching my video. Have a nice day once again.